We begin tonight with breaking news out of far northwest Bexar County. A woman has been found dead. Bexar County Sheriff providing an update just a short time ago. This happened at an apartment complex on Dietz Elkhorn Road near Fair Oaks Ranch. The sheriff said the woman in her 50s was found with a gunshot wound to the chest. While there are still a lot of questions about this case, the sheriff did say this may have been self-inflicted. We'll bring you any updates as they come in. We're learning a lot more today about local officials' response to the deadly July 4th flooding in the Hill Country. State lawmakers grilling Kerr County officials about their absence and delayed warnings at a legislative hearing in Kerrville. And that is where we find our Steve Spriester. Steve, we know a big theme today was accountability.
Yeah, Myra, uncomfortable questions asked about accountability. You know, more than 100 people lost their lives along the river that's behind me. The scars from that flood are still very evident. Families who lost loved ones came to today's special hearing because they wanted answers. Who knew what when? And what can be done to prevent future loss of life from a flood like this? Lawmakers also had pointed questions for Kerr County officials, including about the county's response.
Judge, you put down in your written testimony that the first indication of this storm was different came from when I woke up to texts and calls from Kidd, Letha, and Rice. Were you awoken or did you wake up from those texts and calls? And at what time did you wake up?
It's going to be in the 5:36 range, something like that. And I don't remember if they woke me up or I woke up.
You don't remember?
No, I remember looking at my phone.
Okay.
That's what I did.
And you were at the lake? I'm sorry, which lake was that?
Travis.
Travis Lake, okay. You are the emergency management director for the county, correct? With Mr. Kelly, I'm sorry, with Mr. Thomas being the emergency management coordinator?
Yes.
All right, and Mr. Thomas, you mentioned in your written testimony that you were sick and were awoken by your wife after a call from the city of Kerrville's EMC, which is your counterpart for the city of Kerrville. Is that correct?
William Thomas, Kerr County. Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, one of those who was not happy with what he heard from Kerr County officials. He and House Speaker Dustin Burrows actually set up this special hearing today here in Kerrville. KSAT, the only San Antonio station that got to talk to both of those state leaders about what they heard from Kerr County officials. Take a listen.
But these are the questions we have to have answers to, and if they're uncomfortable, they're uncomfortable. But we had to get the record correct.
Are you satisfied with the answers that you heard from Kerr County officials today?
Mr. Speaker.
So, look, I think there's a lot of questions that were raised. You know, one of the ones is who has the football? Who has the ability to call the code red?
Look, it was the worst of it's the worst of storms, the worst of circumstances, the worst location, the worst time of night, and you have an emergency manager who retired 2 days before, you have one that's sick, and you have a judge that's missing in action. That was the worst situation.
Obviously, neither one of those state leaders happy with what they heard today. Kerrville, by the way, Kerr County is the seat of Kerr County. Kerr County officials never issued evacuation orders, and they did not send firefighters out to low water crossings like some other counties like Kendall County did. That hearing is still going on right now, and what I noticed, Zaria Oates joins us live from the center here in Kerrville where they are having this hearing. Zaria, what I noticed during a lot of testimony, you saw people, I'm guessing family members, stand up to listen to what these lawmakers were asking and what the response was.
Hey, Steve. Yeah, there have been several people who live in this community coming out to speak with lawmakers even outside of the hearing. We've seen several of them pull aside their legislators who have been speaking here. We also know that many of the Kerr County residents who are out here today have lived here for more than 20 years. A lot of them saying that this is the reason that many of them didn't take this flood as seriously as maybe some people would have hoped they did, because they did not expect it to be as bad as it was. One of the people we're hearing from currently Kelly is San Antonio Fire Chief. She said that their responders were there in Kerr County actually on July 2nd, prepared to respond to whatever would happen on July 4th. And now we know that that catastrophic flood hit the hill country. And she did say that she does wonder if their first responders were there earlier, if there would have been a quicker response, if less people would have died. She doesn't blame herself, but she does say that she does wonder if that would have been the case. We did speak with some people who said that they just want a better and more efficient leadership response in the future.
There are just too many people involved, and so we have to find out what the elected power structure of the state is going to do to organize and execute the recovery after the flood.
I think the most important thing is the truth. You know, what happened, how did it happen, who did what when, and I think that this is a great opportunity for the public to hear the facts.
Kerr County Judge Rob Kelly is also a part of that Alamo Area Council of Governments. And while we weren't able to speak with him after, we have heard lots from him about his whereabouts and what he was or really wasn't doing during the night of July 4th. We are also expected to hear more from the San Antonio Fire Chief, and then we'll also hear more from people who experienced this flood firsthand later this evening. Live in Kerrville, I'm Zaria Oates. Steve.
Yeah, the Kerr County judge has a lot of questions that he had come his way today. Thank you, Zaria. By the way, from the very beginning of this flood, KSAT has made a commitment to stay in the hill country for the long haul. And now, almost a month after those July 4th floods, we are continuing to be here because there are answers that need to be had in all of this. We are asking the tough questions as we continue to honor the victims. And in the backdrop of all this legislative stuff that happened today, I came across this box of cookies that somebody gave me. It's from the Texas A&M Corps of Cadets parents to Kerr County first responders, many who are still out there, still helping rebuild, trying to clear roadways, trying to clear off some of the brush that is still very much here. But a box of cookies and scripture can go a long way. Live in Kerrville, Steve Spriester, KSAT 12 News. Myra, let's go back to you in the studio.
Those two things certainly can go a whole far way. Thank you, Steve. Other news we're covering today, a man is dead tonight after a terrible motorcycle crash. This happened at the intersection of Galm Road. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, take a look at this picture out here of the traffic right now. No real issues out there at 35 in Laredo, but slow going as traffic makes its way around these barricades. Now let's talk about that nasty crash involving a motorcycle. This happened at the intersection of Galm Road and Shoreline Drive near Culebra Road. That's where San Antonio police say a motorcycle collided with an SUV. The motorcyclist was thrown from the bike and landed in a nearby backyard. He died there at the scene. Right now, no one is facing any charges in this crash. A longtime San Antonio police officer has found himself in trouble with the law. Officer Paul Fensick, he's an 18-year veteran with the department. He was taken into custody today. Police say a search of his assigned patrol vehicle led to an open beer container in the center console with a cooler filled with unopened beer. Officer Fensick is now on administrative duty, which is department policy. By KSAT's count, Fensick is the third SAPD officer to face legal trouble so far this year. Project Marvel could provide $18.7 billion of new economic output over 30 years, and that's not including a new Spurs arena. At least that's a consultant's estimate on how the city's plan to reimagine Hemisphere could pay off. But experts tell City Hall reporter Garrett Berger that when it comes to reports like this, take it with a whole lot of salt.
As city council members consider how many tax dollars to pump into a new downtown Spurs arena, the big question is, what's in it for San Antonio?
And our focus must stay centered on long-term economic impact.
A newly released analysis by CLS International looked at the economic impact of the wider Project Marvel, estimating what new spending, jobs, and tax revenue will come about because of an improved Alamo Dome, expanded convention center, a new music venue, and a new mixed-use district. The report has lots of numbers, but are they actually useful for decision makers?
Even a perfectly well-done economic impact study is still useless. It gives you no information about trade-offs.
If you want to know the truth, probably not very useful. If what you want is cover to do what you already planned to do, it's perfectly fine.
So basically, the only thing to do with this, toss it up and play wastebasket basketball.
That's what I do.
One of the biggest problems is that economists say these kind of reports are often used to justify projects that somebody has already decided that they want to pursue. This one was commissioned by the city of San Antonio, which came up with Project Marvel.
And you don't get to be wealthy as a consultant by telling the people who hire you that their ideas are bad.
CSL did not directly analyze the possible impact of a new Spurs arena, but it reviewed some of the findings a different consultant produced for the franchise, which includes $318 million in new estimated output every year. But again, skepticism from the experts.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe any of these studies.
For this report specifically, economists said there wasn't enough detail about the methodology. It wasn't clear how much of the estimated impact might just be from cannibalizing business from existing venues. And some of the assumptions seemed overly rosy.
It's hard to believe that the facilities are going to be doing 60, for example, concerts every year for the next 3 decades.
It's up to council members to decide how much credence they give when they discuss it at a meeting next week. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Still ahead here on the news at 6, a fun day with sea animals quickly turned into a scary scene for one little boy and his mom. We'll hear about their encounter with an octopus that wouldn't let go. That's after the break.
I patted and it grabbed on me and wouldn't let go.
How far up did you have the suction marks on?
All the way in my armpit.
Yeah, all the way from like your wrist all the way to your armpit. It was all over. And I started to see that his arm was purple with little suction hickeys. I went back just to check. I was like, surely they have shut it down. And yeah, the octopus was still, there was no, anything changed.
A story that's gone viral, a local mother calling for accountability after an octopus latched onto her son and would not let go. Brittany Tarrant and her son Leo were visiting the San Antonio Aquarium in Leon Valley back on July 14th. She says that Leo was at the octopus encounter when the animal grabbed onto his arm. It took 3 employees about 5 minutes to get that octopus to let go of Leo. He's okay, but his arm is covered in those purple spots. Brittany says she contacted the aquarium since the visit to see if any changes had been made to the exhibit. KSAT also reached out for a comment this morning, and so far we have not heard back. Now, this is not the first time the San Antonio Aquarium has been at the center of controversy. Since it opened in 2014, the business has dealt with a number of issues, including animal theft, code violations, safety concerns, and temporary closures. You can read more about the San Antonio Aquarium's past right now on KSAT.com. Just look for this article. $351 million of San Antonio taxpayer money wasted. It's how property owners in Northwest Bexar County feel about money that's gone into protecting the Edwards Aquifer. That money is all part of a program that buys up property to protect San Antonio's drinking water. Well, now researchers and residents believe a proposed wastewater treatment plant would destroy the work that's gone into protecting the aquifer. Sarah Acosta spoke with a resident who says none of this makes economic or environmental sense.
You may as well take the money that they're using and literally flush it down a toilet, because that's what they're doing.
Lisa Murray's PAC says San Antonio taxpayers should be upset because $351 million of San Antonio taxpayer money that has been spent to protect their drinking water will be flushed with treated wastewater. That's if the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality approves a wastewater treatment plant that would sit on top of the Helotes Creek watershed. That water feeds right into the Edwards Aquifer, where 1.7 million people get most of their drinking water in San Antonio.
It feels not only wasted, it feels insulting.
The Helotes Creek runs through Murray's PAC's 35-acre property. She became part of the Edwards Aquifer Protection Program in 2018. The program buys up easements along the aquifer, essentially buying the development rights from the owners. That wouldn't allow for development to take place that would hurt the aquifer. Since the year 2000, the city's Edwards Aquifer program has purchased 138 conservation easements, protecting more than 187,000 acres over 6 counties. Lennar Construction wants to build 2,500 homes right next to her, which would require a wastewater treatment plant. Neighbors in the area and researchers say this treated wastewater would go right into the aquifer, making that water undrinkable.
Why would you agree to be part of a program and let tax dollars be spent trying to preserve something that we know is very important, only to turn around and let a developer come in, make their money, and leave with all of the problems they're going to create?
She says this affects not just her, but everyone downstream, all the way to the south side of San Antonio, and anyone who pays taxes in San Antonio.
If it comes down to the economics of it, it doesn't make economic sense. It only makes economic sense for Lennar's shareholders.
Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
We have reached out to Lennar Construction multiple times regarding the impacts to the drinking water, and we have not heard back. The city of San Antonio did give us a statement. It reads in part, quote, "We understand that residents and researchers have raised concerns about the potential impacts. Any thorough analysis of these potential impacts would require a scientific study. San Antonio remains strongly committed to protecting the Edwards Aquifer through the EAPP," end quote. You can read that full statement on KSAT.com. Let's take a look outside with live cam. We had a beautiful sunset last night. Caskey says we could see another pretty one this evening, and we got rain chances too to talk about.
Yeah, and it's those high cirrus clouds that make for the beautiful sunsets, and we have triple digits and rain chances to talk about. It's not often the combination we have here in summertime, right, in South Central Texas. So let's get right to it, starting with tomorrow's rain chances throughout the day. I think as early as 2 p.m. we could have our first pop-up downpours, but I think the main time frame would be about 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and that's the 40% chance, so the scattered or widely separated pop-up downpours. There's actually a very weak boundary that's pushing southward, a weak frontal boundary. It's not going to change anything temperature-wise or with the humidity. That combined with some upper-level energy that's closer to Houston and a little offshore today will help to, I think, trigger some of those showers, help basically use the instability that's going to be available in the atmosphere, put it to use. Mixture of sun and clouds throughout the day. We get to 2 o'clock. That's when we could have our first pop-up downpours here or there on the map. I know it shows it just west of Kyle and San Marcos Canyon Lake, but it could really be anywhere on the map. And that's one of the keys here is don't pay close attention to the exact placement. It's really just the overall coverage of rain at any given time, and basically scattered or widely separated splash and dash downpours. Flooding, highly unlikely with these, and we are not expecting the threat of any severe weather. No strong damaging winds or even large hail. That is not a threat in this situation. Notice how that activity goes even into the hill country and southward, basically through Highway 90 is, I think, the main zone. Highway 90, of course, San Antonio to Del Rio, San Antonio to Hallettsville, and northward all the way up through the hill country is a primary zone of opportunity, I think, tomorrow with that 40% chance. So here's the upper level pattern, weak upper disturbance. Gulf and closer to Houston. The big blue H, it's not going to settle directly overhead. And actually, as we get into next week, it's going to be offset a little bit to our north. And that gives us, or to our northwest, really, New Mexico. And that gives us this northerly flow aloft. That's the steering flow in the atmosphere. So what we'll have to watch for next week is the off chance of any storms in Oklahoma or North Texas, the North Texas wild card, the off chance of any of those organizing, then pushing southward. Right now, there's no signs that that would happen. It's just we know with this steering flow that it can happen, and it's something we'll have to watch. So right now we have that 10% chance. Today, 101, the warmest day so far of the month. Average high 97, the record 103. 6 triple-digit days so far this year. And I do want to point out, by this time in years past, we had significantly more. By this time last year, we had 12. By this time in 2022, we had 51 triple-digit days. So definitely a unique summer compared to what we've had in recent years. Right now, 99 at the airport, 100 Pleasanton, Uvalde, 101 Hondo, still right around that triple-digit mark. 92 at 8 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, we're at 85. And we start the day tomorrow at 77, already 95 by noon. and 99 for our temperature here in town. 98 Poteet, Bulverde 97, Uvalde, Sabinal 101. Saturday, another slight chance of rain, isolated at 30%. And then we get into Sunday and next week. Again, probably dry. It's just we know with this kind of pattern, we have to watch for that North Texas wild card in this instance. But near 100 again and sunny next week. We'll be back with sports and Larry Ramirez in just a bit.
My number one goal is to win. I think this team needs to just win. The bar is so high from the previous teams that have been here and where they've been, and so I think just winning. I mean, if I don't throw a touchdown, I don't throw a single pass, but we win, I'll be the happiest quarterback in the country.
He is still the humble Richard Torres we remember from his days at Southside High School in big board sports. Third-year UIW head football coach Clint Killow will be calling the plays now that his offensive coordinator for the last 2 seasons, Connor McQueen, got the opportunity to join Pete Carroll's staff with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, before we see that, though, Killow must decide who his starting quarterback will be for the upcoming season. The battles are between a pair of redshirt freshman Purdue transfer E.J. Carlson, Wyoming transfer Dion Batiste, and the local guy, redshirt junior Richard Torres from Southside High School. This morning, we heard from Torres amid the QB1 battle. And Mary, Torres has matured a lot since his Southside days.
Yeah, bringing it back to his Southside High School days, a 3-star recruit out of San Antonio, Richard Torres was about 40 pounds lighter and saw his time at Nebraska cut short due to a knee injury he sustained his senior year at Southside. But that was never going to be the end for Torres.
College has been a long, long time for me. I've been in there for almost 4 years now, and so just taking it day by day and stepping up. And when my number is called, I like to be ready and prepared.
Richie's a big kid with a great arm. He has a really high football IQ. He's got charisma. He's a natural-born leader. And he's actually fairly nimble on his feet for a big guy.
He's been here your entire tenure. Why is that important?
Yeah, I mean, football is a relationships game. It always will be. No matter what goes on off the field, it will always be a relationships game. And again, I mean, this is year 3. I've been around Richie for a while. I've been with him on good days. I've been with him on bad days. And when you're around people that long, you got to make a decision on whether you like them or not, I guess. So me and Richie got a great dynamic, and I'm thankful for our relationship.
Me and Clint have a strong bond just because we communicate. We're real open with each other. Whenever something's going wrong, he just lets me know, and I get it done. And same thing, vice versa. Like if I see something within the offense or even within the team, I kind of just communicate back with him, and we go back and forth. And yeah, we could just having that open relationship with him is good.
Mary Rominger, KSAT 12 Sports. Back to you, Larry.
Thank you, Mary. Your San Antonio FC, well, they hit a rough patch last Saturday, losing to New Mexico United in penalty kicks. They've won 4 of their last 5 matches and have a rematch this Saturday with Sacramento Republic FC. And the last time these two met, it was a scoreless draw, and SAFC isn't finishing opportunities in the offensive third. So what does Shannon Gomez say to his guys to help motivate them?
Hey, it's going to come. It's going to continue coming, and an opportunity, you got to be ready for the next one. You can't take a play off, because the next moment when you're like dwelling on the last one, it's going to come, and you knock it in. Nobody remembers you missed that one, but they remember you scored the game winner, So these guys not here because they can't score goals. They're here because they can. And we're 100% behind them, and we're going to continue reiterating on and off the field like, hey, get you another one. Get you another one. It's going to come. It's going to come. Be ready for that moment. Be ready for that moment. Not that they need to hear it, but as a good teammate, you want to continue staying behind them and continue giving them that confidence to continue scoring goals.
Kickoff for Saturday's game against Sacramento is set for 8 p.m. at Toyota Field. Myra?
All right. Thank you, Larry.
You got it.
Still ahead here on the news at 6. We'll take a look at this week's Puro Picks. It's just about the weekend. We'll be right back. All right, it is Thursday, practically the weekend, and that means we are focusing on all the cool things happening around San Antonio for the next few days. We are welcoming back Stephanie Guerra, who joins us now with Puro Picks, all the cool things that you pick to highlight that's going on in the city.
I'm going to have to start calling you Myra.
I wouldn't mind it.
Okay.
You wouldn't be the first. Okay, let's talk about the first thing on our list, though, keeping in mind that we're almost approaching 1 month since the floods in the Hill Country, and there is an event on your list to honor that and really benefit those victims and responders.
Yeah, so, I think that KSAT and everybody is doing a really great job of continuing to keep eyes on the Hill Country, support our neighbors out there. And so I'm really proud of our local San Antonio community for continuing to have benefits and tributes to our neighbors out in the Hill Country, less than an hour away. So this is really cool because this event tomorrow is actually taking over the Rustic, which closed, about a year ago at La Cantera, over at the Rim, and going to turn this into a series of music concerts. So the first one is tomorrow, and that is hosted by I Am Lil J, and it's a benefit for Heart of the Hill Country, Texas Strong, and it's actually got like a stacked lineup. So Paula Deanda, Kodak Black, San Antonio's own Austin Mahone, AJ Hearns, a really amazing concert. It's $45, 18 plus, and the proceeds are going to help the Hill Country Fund that they have established. So that's going to be just a really cool to see the Rustic come alive again. That venue holds about 2,000 people, indoor, outdoor. It's going to be beautiful weather, Adam said. Just take a little fan with you. But really neat to see this come back, and I'm hoping to make it to one of the series that they have soon.
Yeah, let's hope it's packed for a good cause.
Yes.
Okay, next up, we have a Barrio Block Party happening.
Yeah, so this is a free event, family friendly. It's the summer Barrio Block Party for San Antonio Cultural Arts, which is a youth arts organization. What I think is really cool about this event is that they are having a youth art show. So all of the art that the students have worked on during the summer, throughout the year, they're gonna show that live. They have live music from a San Antonio tribute band called the San Antunes, and then they're gonna have barbecue plates for sale, keeping it puro, right? That's how we raise money here. And it's just gonna be an overall great night out in the street. They're gonna have paletas, different activities, experiences, and there's no admission charge. So you can take the whole family, and then you're going to raise funds for continuing arts in the youth. And they live in the West Side. That's where their home base is, but they serve youth and students all over the city. So really great organization.
Okay, next event, focusing on Latinas in public relations.
That's me.
That's you, take it away.
Technically, yes, but this is actually an awesome another free event tomorrow. There is a group of Latinas that work in public relations here in San Antonio. It's spearheaded by Melissa Vela Williamson. She got together other experts that work at like VIA, Alamo colleges, they're on boards and commissions, and they wrote a book together. So Latinas in Public Relations, Shaping Communications, Communities, and Culture is their book. And so tomorrow you can go meet them and hear from them. It's a panel at the only Latino bookstore we have over by the Guadalupe, 6 to 8 p.m., and that's completely free. There's normally plenty of room, but if you want to get a good seat and get in front of the authors, definitely get there early. But this is just really neat to see, a collective of Latina public relations experts come together for the greater good and publish a book together. So it's been out for a few months, but really just continuing to make its way through on book tours. And I think we need to go because those are the people that help us tell our stories and help us get our events out.
Yeah, okay, this next event focuses on a moment in San Antonio history that I have found so interesting and done some stories on myself. The walkout. Edgewood High School, 1968.
I know that you all have had some great coverage on this event, and it was a monumental event here in San Antonio at Edgewood High School. The students, they walked out, they staged a walkout to protest all kinds of things with unfair conditions that them and their communities were going through. Definitely an area of town that has always been marginalized, and there are a lot of low-income students, and they've fought really hard to keep their schools open. So this has, and you think it wouldn't still be going on, for decades, but it still is, unfortunately. So the H.E. Butt Foundation and the Edgewood Performing Arts Center came together, worked on the walkout documentary, and they have a free screening of it this Saturday at 2 p.m. So it's going to be a really good time. It's not just meant for people who were around then and who went to high school then. It is a continuing lesson that we need to learn today. And also to show our students now, right? Like, speak up, stand up, take action. So this will be a really great screening for the whole family.
Yeah, a lot of stories I've heard from people who were part of that or who lived it still apply today. Okay, back to school time. That is coming up so very fast, and there is a back to school jam happening.
I know I talked to you about this. You're excited. I know a lot of parents that I know are very excited that they're running out of ideas to entertain the kiddos already.
I'm ready for some routine, I'll tell you that.
So there are tons of back to school events, and I love how generous San Antonio is when it comes to helping kids get ready for school. I thought this event was neat because it's hosted by the Bibliotech EDU. So the Bibliotech, of course, is the digital library. So you can go in, you can check out books on iPads, read them on your phone. They help kids learn digital resources. So they're going to have an event from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Bibliotech EDU, because there's different locations. It's free. They're going to do so many cute like arts and crafts events. You can decorate tote bags, make jewelry, bracelets, get free immunizations. I know that's really popular, but just thought Bibliotech is always rocking. They're always having like really cool, fun events. They have really great staff that like knows what the kids want. And so they really help to make things fun. And I think the back to school jam will be no different.
Okay, we're running out of time, but I want to mention this one before we go because it is another way to help out the folks in the Hill Country. Texas Hill Country benefit at the Ranch Motel.
Now this one I just thought was really cool because of the branding and the way it's a real Texas event. If you go on the Ranch Motel's social media, you'll see this cool armadillo and Lone Star beer. So they're having a fun event with like 20 vendors, live music, 4 or 5 different food pop-ups. It's free to go and attend. 12 to 4. The Ranch Motel has a beautiful pool. I tell everybody, if you haven't been there, hidden gem right down Broadway by the Whitty Museum. I had some poodle pool parties there last year.
You have.
But this just looks like a real hipster of fundraising event, a little bit different than the first one that we talked about, you know, with like star headliners. This is a really Texan put together event. So, and the Ranch Motel has all these fun fundraisers and pop-up events all the time, but very busy weekend. You can always find more on my social media. But I'm so glad that we're still talking about, you know, the Hill Country and everything that's going on despite the heat. We make it work and we get out and we enjoy San Antonio.
Yeah, we always appreciate you being here, Stephanie. Local influencer, has so many different ways on your social media, like you mentioned, that you can connect with all cool things happening in the city.
Thank you, Myra.
I like that. I think we should go with that.
I think so.
We'll be right back after this. When deciding to create a screen-free zone with your kids, you can expect some pushback. During our KSAT town hall earlier today, Jessica Knutson of Clarity Child Guidance Center said that creating a contract that helps to set some clear rules about screen time can help children understand the expectations.
As with everything else with your child in terms of the bedtime and not having in the room and setting those parameters for your kids. I think that the contract is a great idea because it takes the argument out of the equation. If you've agreed that, you know, these are the hours you can use it, this is where the device is going to get charged, it's not available from this time to this time, setting that structure and again having the conversation before the device is in their hands and setting really clear boundaries helps to just take some of the air out of the argument when it does come up.
You can watch our full KSAT Town Hall on social media and kids right now on KSAT.com. We'll be right back after this.
July coming to a close, and we're going to kick off August with some rain chances and triple digits. Let's take a look at July as a recap. The warmest day today, actually 101. The coolest was yesterday morning at 67, and that was a record low temperature, by the way, for the day. And at the airport in San Antonio, 1.19 inches of rain. You look at the average temperature every day, and then you average it out, and basically this July was right at average for the temperature, which is something we're not accustomed to the past several summers. And you look at the rainfall since the beginning of July. I mean, obviously, you go from Ingram to Camp Wood, 12 inches of rain. These are actual measurements, right? The rain gauges. Brackettville, 7.78, but only a trace in Hondo, and that's what really stands out. It's Medina County that really got missed by the rain. We know rainfall and heavy rainfall is not an equal opportunity precipitation, and it definitely wasn't in July either. At the airport, of course, we started off the month fairly rainy, and I know other parts of town got more rain than that. We do have some opportunities tomorrow. 40% chance in the afternoon, then a 30% chance on Saturday. Nothing on authority radar, no precipitation out there. We do have a weak boundary, a frontal boundary that's pushing southward. That's going to influence our rain chances tomorrow. And even notice this afternoon, closer to Lubbock, Wichita Falls, basically along I-20 or near I-20. That's where we had some thunderstorm activity along that boundary. That's dropping southward. That's going to enhance our rain chances tomorrow afternoon. Anywhere from 2 p.m. we could see our first showers, but especially 4 p.m. to, I think, 7 p.m. for the most numerous showers on the radar screen, which is still going to be widely separated. Not everybody's going to get it. And where we do, quick splash and dash downpour, maybe a ½ inch. Flooding, highly unlikely with this situation. The upper level high, that's over far west Texas and northern Mexico now. That's going to be shifting up over New Mexico as we get into next week. And with that clockwise circulation, gives us a northerly flow. That's for most of next week. And that opens us up to the North Texas wild card, where if clusters of storms happen to organize and develop, they could be steered our way. Right now, there are no signs of any such storms, but we know in this pattern that that can happen. It can sneak up on us quickly. So that's why we have just a 10% chance here and there next week. One of those basically game time decisions. There's Medina County, Hondo, the exceptional drought area. 20% of Texas considered in drought, but most of the exceptional drought wiped away so far. 77 degrees tomorrow morning, 95 at noon, 99 the high. Not much of a breeze, making it up to 102 in Del Rio, 98 for the high in Gonzales. And then back to triple digits. We get into next week to maybe a degree or two within 100 degrees for the high temperatures and a decent amount of sunshine. All right, I've been working on the green alcohol in the thermometers for Hill Country Strong. It's been a while since I've done this, and it's actually taken me some time to get the tint enough to where there's enough contrast you can see it. Okay. Black is the best color because when you thin out the green in that narrow 0.5 millimeter diameter bore, it's hard to see it. So I'm still kind of honing in on how to get the best color of green, one that will last. And actually the last time I did this was for a Celtic thermometer I made for my mom, maiden name Mary Lou O'Brien, right? And that was back in 2013.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been a while since I've had to mix a different color and get it to stay and hold. So there have been some challenges.
That you showed in the earlier images, that looks good.
It looks good.
Yeah.
So we're working on that for the Hill Country Strong thermometers going forward.
Just to honor everybody out there.
Yep.
I like it.
Thank you.
All right. Keep us updated.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at what is on tonight here on ABC Primetime at 7 o'clock. We've got Celebrity Family Feud. At 8, it's Press Your Luck, followed by the Night Beat at 10.
And welcome back, everybody. We're about 6 to 7 minutes away from KSAT Sports Now, which starts at 7 o'clock. We got a lot of football to talk about. We're talking about Cowboys quarterback Joe Milton III. He's new to the Cowboys roster this season, and he's trying to still learn the Dallas Cowboys. Plus, Mary Rominger sat down with linebacker Buddy Johnson with the Dallas Cowboys and talked to him about the Cowboys and his former Texas A&M Aggies teammate DeMarvin Leal, who's now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you know what? We're also going to talk to Richard Torres. You remember him, Southside High School quarterback, one of the best in the area. He is now with Incarnate Word, and he is trying to win QB #1. We're going to hear from him. And CJ Gardner-Johnson with the Houston Texans. He's new with the team. This guy is a sound bite machine. He was asked about the Texans wide receiving core, and he started talking auto racing about how fast they are. You don't want to miss his soundbite. Coming up at 7 o'clock on KSAT Sports Now. We'll be right back.
What it's doing for families around Brooks, for their opportunity that they didn't have for decades and decades, is what makes us proud at Brooks.
He is the man behind a $2 billion growth and economic development on the South Side. The CEO of Brooks gets personal on pickup lines with Ernie Zuniga. That is tomorrow morning on GMSA. Let's get a quick check of the roads before we leave you here this evening. I-35 at San Marcos. You can see a pretty shot of downtown there in the background, but no major problems out there as traffic is headed home this evening, Adam.
Tomorrow afternoon, slight chance Saturday afternoon. 100 next week.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you at 10.